Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Dan Illman, Mike Buer, taking a look at race number 10 at Gulfstream Park. This is the Grade 3 Sweetest Chant Stakes. We got 3-year-old fillies going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. $100,000 is the purse. Let's take a look at this big, bulky, and competitive field, and it should be a good betting race. Opalina, the number 2, is 3-1 on the morning line, Mike. This horse was the beaten favorite last time out in the Ginger Brew, but it is her second start of the form cycle, and she has something that some of these others lack, and that's the tactical speed to get close to a slow pace.
Yeah, that's true. The trip could go a long way in a race like this. It just kind of feels wide open, Dan. I personally didn't see a standout in here. But you do have a lot of horses shipping in for this race, which I think makes it interesting because you do have those 2-3 finishers from the Ginger Brew who obviously are competitive on paper, but then you have a lot of new faces, which really spice this race up.
Let's throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector. An added wrinkle is the rare gray bar scenario, no speed. Timeform US believes this race will be run at a glacial pace. My favorite daughter, Opalina, they should be close. If Hals Dream's going to be close, Mike, they're going to be walking because she came from the clouds to win her only turf start.
Yeah, it's interesting to see her so close on this pace projector because she's shown no speed in her 2 starts. So far, it is pretty difficult to see, to figure out what's going to happen early, though, Dan. There are really no burners in here.
Number 1 is Nostalgic, and this one is going to be trying turf for the first time. Well bred, she's by Medaglia d'Oro, about 11% winners with first-time turf runners. Did you see the turf on the bottom of this family? I saw Bob and John's name, Mike, and it took me back to Belmont one year when you threatened to punch somebody in the nose when they dared to mention that Bob and John was a good turf sire.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny that you say that, Dan, because obviously Bob and John was a really good horse. The second dam of this filly, Bob and John's sister, was a stakes winner on the grass, though. All 4 of her career wins came on the turf. She was a pretty good turf horse. So I do think that there's enough turf pedigree to make this surface switch for Belmont. I guess the real problem with Nostalgic, at least her first 2 starts anyway on the main track, she showed no speed at all in those races. I suppose that could work against her here. But listen, I thought she ran well. She ran well in both of her starts last year as a 2-year-old. I don't buy that 48 buyer she got for her debut for a second. She ran way better than that with a big finish through the stretch of that race. And I thought she ran fine in a way tougher spot in her second start.
One of her Payson works last month matches up with Mott's entrant in the Holy Bull Galt. I thought she was just in too tough last time out in the Demoiselle. She has ability. She's going to have to spruce up that running style, as you mentioned, if the Timeform US Pace Projector is correct. Opalina is the number 2. Opalina, beaten favorite in the Ginger Brew. Let's talk about her race at Keeneland, the Jessamine. Again, we talked about that race, how it pretty much went to closers, and Opalina hopped up in the air at the start, and maybe that actually helped her out a little bit because it got her far off that fast pace. She split horses 5 wide turning for home, and she came with a little bit of a run. I think she's going to be close to the pace this time around.
Yeah, I think they'll get closer this time as well. She has plenty of tactical speed. Her Jessamine was fine. She certainly did benefit from that fast pace, but she ran okay in that race. Off the layoff last time, I didn't really see a big excuse for her in there, Dan. The pace wasn't that fast. She did, sort of carry all the ground there. Saez just sort of kept her on the outside all the way around the track. So maybe that's something of an excuse for her. I still didn't feel like she ran that well. And if she's going to take money in here, I think I would just rather try some other horses.
3, roughly a diamond. She ran in that Jessamine, but that just might have been a case of too much too soon. And only her second lifetime start. These connections regrouped, and they got the maiden win last time out at Tampa Bay Downs. Let's watch Roughly a Diamond. This is actually a non-winner, so one other than victory. She was placed first via disqualification in her career debut. So this is the first time she goes under the line first, and she looks comfortable at this juncture, Mike.
Yeah, she really does. I mean, I felt like she ran pretty well in this race, and that's not to say that her first two career starts on turf, weren't okay performances, Dan. She wins this race pretty easily off of a good trip, and I feel like there's still some upside here with this horse.
There's something about Medaglia d'Oro and fillies. It just seems one after another is a good one. You might have another good one. And the four, Ambitieuse. Let's watch this one's maiden win. Start number 2 for Graham Motion over the Pita surface at Gulfstream Park. And we see Ambitieuse, she was relaxed very well in this race. And once she takes it over, it's just all over. She's very game to win over a horse that's down towards the inside and fighting. 62 Beyer speed figure for Ambitieuse. I think she can improve off that number. And I thought she ran sneaky well in her debut at Aqueduct.
Agree with all that stuff, Dan. Her debut at Aqueduct, I felt like was sort of a deceptively good race that she probably needed too. Just looked a little bit green in that stretch, but just kept improving her position throughout that race. I thought she finished a good third. Easy win last time. Rated her off the pace, swept up on that field around the turn. I thought she won very easily and took a step forward there. I'm very interested in her in here.
The 5, My Favorite Daughter. Well, this one's taken on some tough competition in her career, but I wonder if she's just a little bit exposed. 2 starts back, she was beaten by roughly a diamond in the Tampa Bay race that we just saw. Now we'll watch her at Gulfstream Park over the States on January the 21st. And I'll give her some credit. She was up close to a pretty sharp pace for the Tapeta, 47 and change at the about mile and 70 yards. No quit in her in the stretch. She earned a solid Beyer speed figure, but you're going to have to do better.
Yeah, she's going to have to do better, and they're going to switch back to turf for this race too. So we'll see. I mean, she was up relatively close to a quick pace in here, and that's why the pace projector has her on the lead in this race, which I guess could be a benefit to her. I know it looks like she was close to roughly a diamond 2 back, but to me, that race just wasn't that close, Dan. Roughly a diamond to me ran a lot better than she did.
Curious as to your thoughts on the 6, Ocean Safari, returning off a 2.5-month layoff. She ran in the Ginger Brew last time out. Let's talk about trips. Let's watch the stretch run of the Ginger Brew. Now, the winner of this race, the gray horse, Arrogate's first stakes winner, by the way, I thought all in all had a pretty good trip. She saved ground in the pocket. She got to the outside. Ocean Safari was wide on the turn. She makes the lead, and she gets run down by the horse making the last run. I thought this was a solid performance for Ocean Safari. She got a competitive 79 Beyer, and to me, looks like the kind of horse that can adapt to any pace scenario.
Yeah, I think she can get a good trip in this race, so I do think that's a benefit to her. I like the fact that she took a step forward last time in her 3-year-old debut. Ultimately, Dan, I don't like the Ginger Brew as a race that much. I personally didn't see a big excuse for her last time to get run down in that race. And, listen, not that I'm not trying to make a big excuse for Opalina, who finished 3rd there as the favorite, but at least she was just sort of stuck on the outside the entire way. So I feel like I could maybe mitigate her performance a little bit. I guess if I had to take one of them, I would take Opalina, but I really didn't want either one of them.
Miss Uella's the 7. This horse returned from a 2.5-month layoff to score at Gulfstream Park. First time to PETA. Let's watch that effort from trainer Chad Brown. This horse was odds on. She's got some work to do turning into the stretch, but even though the pace is slow, you kind of get the feeling this meet watching these Tapeta races, you want to be widest, you want to be running late, and that's what happened with Miss Uella, who only received a 57 Beyer.
Yeah, it didn't really improve getting the maiden win here. More game than anything else, but she does get the job done right at the wire there. She gets up. We'll see if she can improve now, because obviously she has to do that. Personally, Dan, I wasn't particularly taken with either of her turf starts in New York last year, but she could certainly improve here. I guess I would just wait and see what kind of price she is. Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz, feels like she could take money in here just because. I mean, she really hasn't run that well in any one of her starts so far.
The 8 Battle Charge is one to consider for the underrated Tim Hambarn. This one's done nothing wrong in her last 3 races. Stakes placing 2 back over the Tapeta at Presque Isle Downs. Solid victory last time out at Tampa Bay, where she was able to get close to the pace. So it's nice to know she has the tactical speed, and she's got a fig in 83.
Yeah, that race last time, the turf debut, makes her a serious contender in this race. She got a great trip in that race. But she was also really game in the stretch to hold on with a pretty solid figure at the end. The horse that she held off in the stretch there, Hail 2, she's a pretty nice filly who broke her maiden at Saratoga last summer. So I feel like that was a quality win for this filly last time. I'm using her.
Seems like you just can't stop these gun runner progeny. Here's Running Legacy winning on Tapeta of all places. First time out, going through turns on December the 9th. And Running Legacy in behind horses. I kind of like what she showed in this race. Not only did she debut at a demanding 2-turn distance, but she had to wait in behind. The hole we saw opened up and it worked out beautifully, but she charged on home to win. Only a 58 buyer speed figure. Another one getting a little bit of an acid test here.
Yeah, I feel like it's a tough spot. She's going to switch surfaces too. We'll see if she's up for it, Dan. I don't really have any knocks on her debut win. She ran fine in there. Still interested to see. I know Gun Runner is obviously a great sire so far. Interested to see if they take to the turf. So far, they haven't.
Hals Dream completes the field. Let's watch Hals Dream's one and only start on turf. This was at Keeneland during the fall meet. Career debut going 1 mile and a 16th. And from here, you're wondering, well, I don't know how Hals Dream's going to do this. The good news is there was a very fast pace on tap for Hals Dream. Brian Hernandez Jr. is just searching for somewhere to go. He's playing video game horse racing right now. He angles down to the inside. There's the hole. Hals Dream gets up late. This is a promising performance in that he passed them all.
It really is. I mean, it felt like there were plenty of reasons for this horse not to win that race, but she did get up. You saw it was a real blanket finish there, Dan. That might not be a great sign. 5 of them hitting the wire together in there, but I don't know. It just felt like this horse had plenty of reasons not to get there. And she just kept finding gaps, and every time she found a gap, she responded. I felt like she ran pretty well in that spot, and I could use her in this race, although it feels like she's going to be far back again early, and this race might not set up quite as well.
So many different ways to go. Let's take a look at our top picks for the grade 3 Sweetest Chant. Mike's going with Ambitieuse, the horse that looked so good last time out on the synthetic surface and ran sneaky well in her debut on turf. She's got all upside.
And that's what I liked about her, Dan. I do feel like she ran, I feel like she might have run even better on turf in her debut than she did breaking her maiden last time. But she ran well enough last time, and it does feel like she improved in that race. So I'm happy to give her a chance back on the turf.
I respect Ocean Safari's consistency. She's never been off the board. I respect the competitive buyer speed figure she earned last time out. And I like the fact that she is tactical enough to stay close to the pace. So she's in form, and I'm expecting a pretty good effort. Mike's going with the 4. I'm going with the 6. It's the grade 3 Sweetest Chant. We're getting ready for the Holy Bull.